So, Broken Blade. Okay, before we start smoking on this Charlie pack, I probably shouldn't have said that, but everybody else is eating off of his name, so why the hell shouldn't we? You know what I'm saying? Before we get into that, I think we need to address this. Delta State University in Mississippi. Another young man found hanging from a tree. And in today's climate, and all of this virtue signaling happening, all this pearl clutching happening, when something truly despicable or also despicable happens, well, crickets. Now, we remember the energy, right? We remember the energy from when, like a man, hole punched that young immigrant lady on the bus, and everybody was just indignant. And maybe it's because you could see it, we get it, right? The crimes that are committed, that George Floyd is because we watched it, right? But you would think that something is old school, like the definition of racist. You would think that would kind of jump the line and go to the top of despicable behaviors. But it hasn't, though. Like it hasn't. It really puts things in perspective for me. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but it really puts things in perspective. And I noticed a couple of other things. Because I wanted to make sure that I was I wanted to make sure that I was accurate when I described these things, when I started talking about these things. I wanted to make sure that I had all the information that I needed. And while I was doing research, I started well, kind of I'm kind of taking us back to the beginning. Shout out to Mr. 43TX. Well, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Salute to all you guys. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Because this kind of goes to show you how just the double standard couldn't be more clear. Okay. Now, black man found hanging from a tree, 20 years old, first year of college. Freshman year of college. You have a loving family. The phone rings. It's the police. Not the college, it's the police. And they say, your son was found deceased in his bed. And you say, deceased in his bed? What do you mean? But they don't want to give you any details. So you're trying to get some details, trying to figure out what's going on. And then you hear on the news, young man found hanging from a tree on the college campus. And you're like, wait a minute. Young man found in a tree, same college my son. And you put two and two together and you realize that the police lied to you. That your son wasn't found deceased in his bed, but hanging from a tree. But then they rush through everything, right? Don't give you any information. Still haven't gotten a phone call from the college yet. Not from the college yet. And everyone is quick to say, and they include it in the titles of all of the media that they're putting out.
No foul play suspected.
No foul play suspected. Huh. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? No foul play suspected. And you know, and they don't have any information, right? They can find the guy that popped Charlie Kirk. Like they got him from walking from here to there and here to there to here to there. But there's no video of any of this. They don't have any information. No foul play. Well, no foul play, right? So if I'm thinking no foul play, then what they're telling me is that he crawled up in that tree, put a rope around his neck, and he jumped off of there and did it to himself, right? So there's likely no other injuries, right? So even with what the cops say, let's look at the AP. Let's see. Mississippi wants, can I make this bigger? Sorry, guys. I apologize. Make this a little bit bigger. There we go. Mississippi police, they awaited autopsy results from a black student found hanging from a tree in Delta State University. And the case has ignited strong emotions in a state with a history of racist violence. Ain't that something? Ain't that the truth? 21-year-old was found near the campus pickleball courts early on Monday. The police have said they saw no evidence of foul play. His family is demanding answers and has hired a prominent civil rights attorney, Ben Crump. That's a conversation for another day. Out of the respect for those grieving, we ask you continue patience and compassion as the investigation proceeds. Peeler told reporters at the Delta State campus. Now, by this time, the college still hadn't called the parents. Chief State. You know what really comes into mind when I hear this? Just systemic. Let's just put that on let's write systemic on a sticky note and just put that up somewhere so we can come back to it. Systemic. We want to put that word. We're going to come back to that word. Chief State Medical Examiner was conducting an autopsy on Wednesday, and Peeler said preliminary findings should be released in a day or two. Peeler said that the evidence includes video footage, but would not say what it shows and where it came from, citing the ongoing investigation. Now, if they hadn't...
The Charlie Kirk video dropped damn near immediately.
Almost immediately. Interesting.
Very.
Now, I'm trying to figure out how you can write in the title of the news article that there was no foul play involved when you still hadn't done an autopsy. I digress. Crump said in a statement on Wednesday that the police should allow the student's family to view any video the police have gathered. He also has plans to lead an investigation alongside civil rights groups that would include an independent autopsy. Yeah, you should absolutely do that. Family members also pressed for more information from the university officials during news conference on Tuesday. Vanessa Jones, another attorney from the family, said that the student had just started classes at Delta State this fall and was full of life, eager to be there. There should have been cameras at the university that could easily enlighten us to what could have happened. Jones told reporters, adding, from the moment he left his dorm room or entered that campus, there should be surveillance of all of his actions. No foul play. They seemed confident that there's no foul play. Online rumors that the student was found with broken limbs were disputed by Bolivar County Coroner Ralph Seals Jr. Remember what I said about systemic? In a statement cited by local news outlets Tuesday, Seals said his office conducted a preliminary examination and concluded that the student did not suffer any lacerations, contusions, compound fractures, broken bones, or injuries consistent with assault. SEALs did not immediately return phone messages from the Associated Press. We recognize this is not only about facts. Delta State President Dan Ennis said Wednesday it is about emotions and feelings and the way this loss and how it was discovered affects people's lives. Except for, the guy that, I don't know, deceased, but whatever. Because forget that guy. Many social media posts about the case have invoked a darker period in U.S. history when killings of black people by white vigilantes inflicted racial terror in Mississippi and other parts of the Deep South. They include the infamous lynching of Emmett Till, whose body was found 30 miles from the Delta State campus. I don't know. It feels like maybe, that's just kind of the kind of thing that happens there in good old Mississippi. I could be wrong. Let's see. About a leaked audio recording of the sheriff's station, Oklahoma, found in literal pieces. No. See, we can you hear about this? Yeah, I hadn't. They don't treat us quite the same when it comes to us.
Here's what I read. One quote in my head from this corner. That the student. Scroll back up.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, concluded the student did not suffer any lacerations, contusion, compact fractures, broken bones, or injuries. Consistent with assault.
Consistent with assault.
Yeah.
We're getting good at this, bro. Start reading between the lines. You know what I'm saying? Start reading like, wait a minute. That's an interesting thing to put at the end of that, right? Like that's a Cash Patel. He was talking about how he's like, we don't have any record of any blah, 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 blah. But it's like, yeah, you don't have any record. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. Didn't mean that it wasn't there. Just you don't have it. Got it. Okay, cool. So I think that
like any Indian conservative try to talk shit about like sneak disses black people, go fuck your mother.
Kinda. Yeah.
The video's dropping soon.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
You're all some deplorable sons of bitches.
Isn't it crazy? It's pretty despicable, really. Like it just to like the hypocrisy is crazy, bro. I'm telling you, I was, cause I be speed listening and, Tim Pool, because, when they get real comfortable and they forget that this is a room full of white folks sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like they forget and they just kind of go into their flow state and they just start doing what the YT people do. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I think that they forget that the camera's on or that, there's potentially, I don't know, intelligent black people listening to them. And I gotta find it. I haven't been able to find it. Perfectly described racism. I mean, the best description of racism I have ever heard. But he was basically talking about how the left treats the right. And I was like, yo, that's crazy that this dude accurately described. I mean, bro, when I say textbook, the best description of racism I've ever heard came from Tim Pool's mouth. And he was talking about liberals. It was interesting. And conservatives. It was interesting. Well, let's see. I think there might be. Okay, so the coroner's still sticking with there is no broken bones and such. I have a strong because they've done that before. They've played keep away with the body. And so I imagine they thought that they were going to be able to get rid of the body before the family was able to get doctors or someone onto it. Updates from the university at press conference on Wednesday. Let's see. The loss was devastating. And now, like I said, there could be more information, but from what I know, even as of right now, the school still hasn't reached out to the family. Ennis reiterated the coroner's early conclusions but said he recognized that the psychological impact of Reed's death is not only about the facts. Ennis said it's about the emotions and feelings. Bro, what is this? Feelings and emotions? Feelings and emotions? Feelings and emotions. No, how about we discuss the dead body hanging from a tree? How about that? Yeah. How about that? Can we talk about that? And not about necessarily like, so how could you tell me that every other student on the campus is safe if you haven't locked up the person that did it? How can you say that it's safe to come outside? How can you say that you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like you can't. So Ennis, who is white, acknowledged his weakness is not being adequate to speak to the imagery that the incident raises. Delta State serves 2,800 students, roughly 40% of whom are black. Ain't that something? Only 40% are black at a historically black, whatever. Ennis said that the campus had been receiving threatening phone calls and messages since Reed's death. I can say that my heartbreak is comprehensive, not just for Trey, although primarily for Trey, but the fact that the rest of the world has an impression of Delta State, so that is so at odds with what we know to be this institution, which is the joy and grace of people living and working together and respecting each other. I can say my
sure nigga died, but this makes us look bad.
Thank you, bro. Okay. I was wondering if I was being overly sensitive. I was wondering if I was being overly sensitive. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Broken Blade, for your response. Okay. How can people not see? Right? Like
willful blindness.
Wow. Mike Peeler, Delta State University chief of police, told the press that the Reed's body was transported to the Mississippi State Examiner's office for full autopsy on Wednesday morning. Authorities expect preliminary autopsy within 24 to 48 hours. He said DSU Police, the Cleveland Police Department, and the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation and Bolivar County Sheriffs plan to update the public on the findings after first meet with Reed's next of kin. You know, they're from the South. He told reporters the law enforcement officials were reviewing relevant video, but he couldn't offer any more details. Peeler also said that he had no information about Reed's family being told the death took place in his dorm room. That's funny. He emphasized during the press conference that this is an isolated incident and there are currently no active threats to the campus, which remains safe environment for students, faculty, and staff. How do you know, though? You see what I'm like? Yeah. What do you mean? How do you know? Like, unless the person that did it is in cuffs, how can you ensure the safety of anybody else on that campus? Brother. Nonetheless, because time goes on, because we're not still talking about Charlie Kirk. Nonetheless, the Grizzly incident has frightened black students on campus. I wonder why. Hearing that happen to another black student, it really makes me feel unsafe, says Delta student Stacy Hoskins. I can imagine. The nature of Reed's death has had an emotional impact on black students and other students on other campuses as well. Some treated it as a foregone conclusion that Reed was, deleted and issued statements that Reed was killed and issued a statement of support. So even the students are like, yeah, he probably didn't hang himself up in that tree. Fascinating. Black Student Union, Illinois State University directed students. What's
Black
that?
students read between the lines.
Hmm?
The nature of Reed's death has had an emotional impact on the black students. Like, is that just a statement of fact, or is that progress report?
You know when you like you go out to dinner, or you go on a date, you know what I'm saying, and the bill comes, you know what I'm saying, and your date kind of like reaches for her purse, but not really. You know what I'm saying? It's like a gesture. It's like making note of a thing, but not really caring about the actual thing.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway. Once again, you know, it's just never equal. It just never feels the same, you know? It always seems like the way that these kinds of things gets treated are completely different than how these other things get treated. And I think having this Charlie Kirk thing happen like on a college campus, and like, you know, it's like it's been really easy to be able to put these things side by side, and you know, it's been easy to compare and contrast, you know, the language being used, the speed at which the whole thing goes, you know, who's in front of the camera speaking, who's not, how the family's treated, you know, everybody's like, what's his face's wife's name? Don't worry about it. So Kirk's wife and his kids, you know, it's like, oh my God, this beautiful family and these beautiful kids, and they've got oh my God, you should feel so bad, and like, so, you know, I don't know, old school America, assassinating people is one thing, but you know, hanging people from a tree, that's about as American as apple pie. It really is. It really is. Like, that is a uniquely American way to murder somebody. You're making a political statement of such. It is a form of errorism, and if you know what I mean with the T, right? Anyway, I wanted to just put that in the ether before I got into this other stuff. I think, man, we need to, you guys stay vigilant. If you don't have one of them things, you know, you need to go on ahead and save up a couple of dollars and get you some training and go get yourself one of them things. Okay. Because, you know, one of the things that always stuck with me is that the slaves that were able to have one of them things were the ones that didn't get lynched. Those were the ones that got away. Okay. Those are the ones that got away. The ones that didn't get lynched, the ones that had them things on them, those are the ones that kept themselves from hanging. Strange fruit. Look it up. Strange fruit.